Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So my name's Stuart Harper, and I work on FME Cloud, as you're probably aware of now, but I also have it's almost a side project. My team work on this about 1 or 2 months of the year, and that's FME Hub. So what I'm here to talk about is, firstly, what is the FME Hub and why should you care about it in its current state? And then actually half of this is kind of product roadmap, where we're going with the FME Hub, maybe kind of interactive, get some feedback from you all. It's quite a new product. It replaced the FME Store, which has been around for a few years, but this is a much more improved platform, to be honest with you, with a great deal more benefit than what the store brought. So why FME Hub? Why have we built this product? Why have I been telling everyone about FME Hub every day within SAFE? There's two main reasons, really. One is it's to do with the rate of change and the variation with which the industry is just moving. Let's take an example. So before, maybe SAFE was supporting Oracle, let's say. So we had Oracle 8, Oracle 9, Oracle 10. The release cycle on this was at best annual. So our annual release cycle of shipping 2017, 2016, that was fine. We could just update everything, release it, everyone was happy. The trouble is now is things are increasing. The increasing pace is basically meaning things are updating multiple times within the year. So our annual release cycle just doesn't cut it anymore. It's not fast enough. So what we need to do is detach the logic for the transformers and the readers and writers from the product. So we can update all of that independent of the product, and then we can still have the annual release cycle. So that's one reason. It's from SAFE's perspective, and it's mainly to do with APIs, right? APIs, sometimes the products only last a year. They come and they go. Sometimes we have new versions every 3 months, every 4 months, so we need to keep up with that. And that brings us nicely into the second point. We want a platform for the community. I mean, you've seen the community this week, right? How strong the community is. It's an amazing community, and people have amazing ideas, but we're also geographically spread everywhere. And there's so many data products now, there's no way SAFE can support them all. So we want to give you a platform where you can push transformers, readers and writers, things like that up, and we can all share them as a community and kind of, gain critical mass, hopefully, globally by contributing things. So that's why we're doing FME Hub. Now, what's in FME Hub currently? So you can get custom transformers, which forms the bulk of what's on FME Hub, to be honest with you. Web connections. So web connection it's a new thing. And what it essentially is it's a configurable authentication object. So when you connect into an API, when you have to enter your username and password or your token, that's the complex bit about interacting with the API. So we've created this web connection, which is an XML structure that basically defines how you're going to connect to a web service. So, for example, there might be a Fitbit web connection up there or a Slack web connection, and then you can all share that. Templates they're like samples. They're just kind of for sharing workflows in FME. And then readers and writers. This might go the way of the Dodo. We haven't decided yet. We might focus more on custom transformers. We're not sure yet, but there are some readers and writers in there. So where are we? We've got 451 items currently in the hub. I think we've actually got more now because people put quite a lot in yesterday. And about 220 of those are from SAFE, and the rest are from the community, which is great considering we haven't even mentioned it yet. So I think there's definitely value out there. So what are the features of FME Hub? Let's talk through. So the first kind of user scenario is if you want to take things from the hub, not contribute. You're a user, you're in Workbench, or you're looking to solve a problem. You're like, oh, I need to do this in Workbench. It's not a ship transformer. The first thing you should be thinking is, well, has someone else already solved this problem? Is it on the FME Hub? So how do you look for content on the FME Hub? The first way is you go to hub.safe.com. It's a new website. It'll be more integrated into the whole safe.com platform soon. But here you can come and you can filter by type. You can look at coordinate system. So this is not just SAFE, but people have contributed coordinate system transformers. We can filter by type. So let's look at web connections. So these are web connections that mostly I've created that aren't in the product. So you get the idea. It's kind of a platform for people to provide content. You can search in here as well. So let's look for Jan's Azure transformers that he's created. He was talking about yesterday in the keynote. Actually, we did this one, but he gave it to us. So you can see the doc he's created is really great, and you can have a look at that in here. So the other place you can actually access the hub items are obviously in the product. So in the navigator here on the left, you go under FME Hub and you can find the transformers. But better than that, you can actually just type on the canvas. And so you can see the transformers here, and you can even look at some help, the first few lines of help. If I type raster, you'll note how it shows me the blue ones are all the ones that ship in the product, and as I scroll down, hub's obviously always shown below. Here are the hub ones, so some of the hub transformers. So two ways. So then all you have to do is double click, it pulls it down off the hub, and then it's installing it, and it should drop it on the canvas. Wow, okay, I've got so into that. That's fine. Anyway, you get the idea. So it's kind of fully integrated into Workbench. 2 kilobytes a second. We'll be here all week. Okay, so yeah, discoverability on the web, discoverability within FME Workbench. So what else? So you're using an FME Hub item, and what 99% of you have been doing probably is just downloading them from QuickAdd, and you didn't even realize you were using Hub items. And they appear green on the canvas, and you're like, oh, they're green. Why are they green? That's probably what most of you have been doing. But what we're wanting to do is kind of start to push people to the actual Hub website. So there's a few things. On any item, you can star an item, and this is like bookmarking an item. Because let's say you've embedded one of these custom transformers that John's company have created at Locus, and this is part of your key production workflow. Well, you want to probably know when this is updated. So if you star an item, you'll receive a notification when it's updated, much like the GitHub model, right? And we'll probably add to this and grow it as we add things. What else can we do? Yeah, you can give feedback on an item. So when you're logged in, you can add a comment, and when you make a comment, it basically emails the owner of the item and they can answer back. So, this is still in its infancy, but we want to create kind of a discussion on these items if you want that. Okay, so back to the presentation. What about the other side of things? What about if you're wanting to contribute to FME Hub? So the bulk of people we've seen contributing at the moment, to be honest, have been partners, which is great. They're the key people who really understand FME. But I'm just going to walk you through what this looks like. So it all starts in FME at the moment. Oh wow, internet's really slow. I can cancel that. So I've created a Twilio voice caller transformer. So this is a custom transformer I want to put in the hub that interacts with the Twilio API, which is a communication API. So I've configured all of this. I've got everything set up in here. How do I get this up on the FME hub? The first thing I need to do is go in my transformer parameters, and I need to set up some information. So I need to set up an overview. I need to give the transformer a name. I need to choose a category on the FME hub. Basically, you want to write the help doc so people can understand what the thing is when you put it up there. Also add some history. And so you've done that. You've got you should really be bookmarking as well, adding annotation. It's really clear. It's a really great custom transformer. Now what else do you need? What other component do you need when you're submitting something to the hub? Well, you need a test workspace. So this is a new thing that we've just added. So this is the problem this is solving. You're going to put a Twilio voice caller up on the FME hub, okay? And that works great now. So you put it up on the hub, and then next week Twilio changed their API, and it breaks. How do you know it's broken? So what we've done is we've built a test suite for you on FME hub, so you can upload a workspace with the custom transformer, which runs every day, and it tests that custom transformer. So this is a really simple workspace, actually. All it does is it has the Twilio voice caller in it, and I'm just making a call using their sandbox SID and token. And then if it works, I just do nothing. And if it's rejected, something's gone wrong, and I send a terminator out. So we'll have a look at what that looks like in a second. So let's upload this item to the hub. I'm going to click upload. I'm going to choose my Twilio voice caller here. I'm going to set this as public. We have private as well. This is for another workflow, another day, but we kind of talked about maybe Hub one day being kind of you could use it at an organizational level to share things and keep things private, but for now it's just the public level. So the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to add an icon so it looks kind of nice. So here's the Twilio logo. Yeah, that looks great. And now we're going to also upload our test workspace. So this is the test workspace, and you can see we've got a test suite built in for you. This is already running against the test suite. You get instant feedback, and oh, it failed. Okay, of course that was what was meant to happen. So what you can do is why did this fail? And you can actually download the log, and you can look at the log, and you get the full FME log. So you can scroll down, and well, we've got the 400 bad request. And so that way you can debug. So of course the idea is this has been running for many months. Twilio changed their API, bang, the test fails. You get an alert as the owner, and everyone who's following it gets an alert as well, saying, oh, your version might be broken. Okay, so that's how you contribute an item. Yeah, I've already talked about the FME Hub test suite. So this is where we are now, and a lot of you are sat there picking great big holes in things that are wrong, and I can see this is a problem and that's a problem. So where are we going? What we've kind of done is essentially to start with, there's an element of trust. We kind of launched this, and anyone can put anything up there and do what they want, kind of like the Google Marketplace model, not the Apple. We haven't gated things. It's kind of a free-for-all. But the first thing I think we really have to address is, how can I trust the quality of the items up there? Looking at the rate at which people are importing stuff, we're going to be over 1,000 items within 6 months. So we need to address this quickly. So here are some of my ideas and the team's ideas. If you've got any of your own, it's great. First is trusted contributors. This is where it really all starts. If you're a partner, if we know who you are and you're trusted, then surely your stuff, should be in the product. If there's that element of trust there, then we can automatically just bypass and put your things in the product. I think that's probably a fair one. But if we don't know who you are, or we're not sure, a few things I'm thinking of. Essentially, creating a scoring system. And so, if you want this to appear, if you want your item to appear in the quick add here, then it has to get over a certain score. So how could we create a score? Items that have a passing test. Aging score, potentially, number of stars, how many people have starred the item, completeness of the documentation. If there's 3 words for the doc, then probably pretty useless, unless it's incredibly simple. But these are some of the ideas. So that's the first problem I think we need to solve quite quickly. The next one is slightly not quite related, but how can I share my FME server workflows? So you've seen on FME server we have this concept of projects. So a project is kind of packaging up a subset of your FME server configuration. That's the technical jargon, but really what you're doing is packaging up workflows. So Safe Software might create a really nice workflow using the Dropbox subscriber and a topic and a schedule, and you want to package all this up with the workspaces and share it. So very soon, this year, hopefully, you'll be able to share FME server projects on the hub. So we're starting to be able to share things at the server level. And hopefully you'll be able to install them from within FME server. The next thing is how can I share more advanced FME workflows? So here's the problem at the moment. Someone did it yesterday, actually. Here's the problem right here. I'll show you. So we go to FME Hub. Someone's obviously doing a lot in ProjectWise. I don't know who Rolo is, but this Rolo is big on ProjectWise. So he's uploaded ProjectWise Scheme Retriever, URI Extractor, all of these different independent ProjectWise transformers. But that's not that great for you as a customer. You've got to install all of them, and then maybe you need to also install a web connection and a sample. So what we want to do is create this idea of a package And for those more technically minded, think NPM or Ruby Gems. We want to create a package manager for FME. So here's a scenario. You want to create a connection to Salesforce, the Salesforce API. And you're going to connect to the force.com part of the Salesforce API. So you want some samples, some workspaces showing how to do it. You've created 5 different custom transformers. You've created a web connection object. You're using some Python from that Salesforce have created, so we're dropping some Python in as well. So you package this all up in this Python that you create via a command line, and then you upload that to the hub. And then the customer just searches for Salesforce, force.com, download, and bang, it installs everything. Or, the transformers, the web connection, puts everything in the right place, and you're ready to go. So that's the first idea, which is happening, probably 2018, hopefully. The second is we're going to let you start creating transformers with code. So this is kind of beyond the scope of the hub, really, but it is related, mainly because I'm pushing it really hard. But what I want customers to be able to do is, rather than going in Workbench and creating your own custom transformers in the GUI, and you have to kind of edit and do everything in Workbench, I want you to be able to have the same capacity to create transformers as the developers do at SAFe. The problem with that at the moment is this horrible mapping language, in the mapping files, and you can't do it. So what they're going to do, they're already working on it. Ian, who you saw spoke this morning, he's leading this. He's going to let you define the GUI for transformers in JSON. So you'll have a JSON API, so you'll be able to do all of the fancy stuff that we do if you look in here, like if I had an HTTP caller, all of this stuff, you can't do any of it currently. There's grouping by request. You can turn things on and off based on choices. So you'll be able to build this transformer in JSON. And then what you'll be able to do is plug that JSON into Python code for the business logic. So you're going to have access to all of the same APIs that the SAFe software developers have. This is my dream. So they'll be able to ship these on the hub as well. More than that, what I want you to be able to do is I saw a presentation this morning on this morning on this as well, is more developer-centric thinking around creating FME tools. So you'll create your Python code and your JSON, it'll be in Git, you're creating a new transformer, and it stays in Git. That's where you want it to live. But you integrate it with FME Hub. So every time you push to a branch on GitHub, it will clone that up onto FME Hub and update things on FME Hub. So I want to start giving you a developer toolkit that you can build things. And the first customer of this is going to be SAFe Software, because we've been burnt so many times over the past few years by adding readers and writers and transformers to the product that use APIs, and then we can't update them. So if something breaks in October in 2016.1, we don't have a product to release to you until now. So the thing's broken for 6 months in the product. It's no good. So we want to detach it, as I said. So SAFe will be the first big customer of this. Okay, yeah, so not quite all FME Hub, but quite a lot of information there. If anyone has any questions, happy to take them. Yeah, John? Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 It's just, it could be, yeah, it's useless, right, if you don't know what it is. Yeah, no, that's fair, and we could actually stop you uploading if there isn't 20 lines of documentation or something. We could be really harsh. Yeah. Yeah.
Something to read and something to go, oh yeah, okay, gotcha, see what you're saying.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Or at least you have like a first level
It,
check, if you like.
I've had arguments with people about this though, because some people think it's like some developers will say that you shouldn't comment code, and your code should be self-explanatory and it should be beautifully written. So you don't need doc for FME. It should all be in the transformers, and they should all be annotated, and that's where they want the doc in the workspace in the custom transformer. But I agree with you. So yeah, yeah.
You mentioned a test suite for each custom transformer.
Yeah.
Who makes that and how do they do that?
So it's up to the person who submits the item will create the test suite, so the workspace to go along with it. And so we haven't quite got there yet, but we're going to have a guide on how to create this workspace. But ultimately all it is really you build a workspace to test whatever logic you've built, and if it's not as expected, you put a terminator transformer in, and that's how you're going to trigger the failure. But it will be on the contributor to update that. Yeah. Anyone else? Well, oh, there. The JSON and Python. Yeah, question, when are the JSON and Python APIs? I probably shouldn't really say too much here, but I think they're going to be ready for 2018, but maybe I'll give them to some trusted people, and Safe will test it internally. It's a huge change. So they are working on it, but yeah, I wouldn't say they'll be polished and ready for 2018. Yeah.
It looks like you're skating on the edge of an open source community and open up that level of coding. I've often seen other commercial products that sort of lag behind what grows in the open source.
Right.
So
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of open source, and it definitely, I just see that we're lagging behind these new formats that are coming online, and we have a 2-3 year lead, and it's too slow. But yeah, it's kind of the same model, right? But look,
but the other thing is that some people will move to the open source version, and your opportunity for profit may lag unless you offer awesome documentation and support far beyond the other one.
yeah, I mean, I guess we always have that problem at Safe, though. Here's my thinking: it's not the fact that you can connect to Salesforce where the value is, and maybe the connection's in there, but it's bringing that in and mashing everything together and scheduling it on FME server, and that's where the value is. I think a lot of what's going to be in the hub's going to be connecting to things or pulling things in, kind of the endpoints, rather than the actual kind of business logic. I think Safe's probably going to handle the business logic more, the actual processing and those side of things, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, we never kind of worry about that side of things at Safe. We kind of just build a platform and see what happens. We can always turn it off, right? Yeah, Roger?
The custom templates, you talk a lot about transformers and web connections. What sort of content are you looking for people to provide there?
Yeah, so the custom templates, what content there, that's what Roger's asking. So Inspire is a good example, actually, on the hub at the moment. Conterra have created a whole bunch of Inspire templates, and really that's what they are. They're kind of templates that you can download and use, and some of them just have empty bookmarks in telling you what to do, and others actually show you a full workflow on how to solve a problem. That's what a template is, really. It's how to solve a full problem. Yeah. Thanks. Okay, yeah.
It's true. For partners who are thinking about monetizing their custom transformer, are you doing anything that's onto this platform so we can?
Yeah. Yeah. So the question is, can partners do anything to generate revenue? So at the moment, it's kind of the idea is it's an open platform, and that's where we're going, and we need to learn and iterate. What you can do currently is you could connect to a web service that you own that costs money. You can do that right now. But the idea of people paying for items in the hub, it has been bounced around, but it's a complex problem to solve, and we need to understand the patterns of usage within the product before we go down the monetization route. So we might do it one day, but it's not on the immediate roadmap. Right, that was fantastic discussion. So I think